A&E is the first port of call for the critically ill or seriously injured, but it's also the last resort for patients who've got no one else to look after them.
Sometimes we don't ask for help when we need it.
I'm Saleyha Ahsan, emergency medicine doctor and filmmaker. I'm turning the cameras on my own emergency department. Tonight, the struggle to find beds for patients. Nearly 50,000 patients a year come through the doors of our A&E. In April, nearly a third of them spent longer here than the 4-hour target. The emergency medicine department at Bangor is meant to treat patients requiring urgent care before sending them onto wards, discharging them or transferring them to another hospital. But if the wards are full, the department gets clogged up.
Hello, Gwen speaking, how can I help?
As I film, the department is struggling to make space for incoming patients. Gwen Rowlands has to free up places.
251.
Oh, come aboard, the best sister I've ever known.
Oh, thank you. I'll go out into the ambulances and assess it and see for myself, because I like to see for myself how unwell or well the patients are really, and then, because obviously they are my responsibility, aren't they? Well, that is the problem. I have got one discharge. One's going to the Chapel of Rest, so I will have capacity to offload them. But I can't see them happen quick enough, that's the thing.
With more calls coming in, the ambulance's arrival has brought a particularly challenging case.
He's got a brain tumour and he's had a third ventriculostomy, so he's got a drain. And I'm just worried because he's got visual disturbances and headache, that drain is blocked. So.
And you've got nowhere to put him?
No, but I have got a plan. Minutes. One.
Yeah, done.
Yeah. He could go in there actually. Yes.
What's going on in that room right now?
They're preparing the lady to go down to the Chapel of Rest.
And then you'll put the other guy in there?
I will put the other guy in there, yes.
Exit the body of a patient beyond saving. Enter a 21-year-old patient in desperate need of medical help.
Expected death. She had cancer of the gullet and deteriorated and end of life. Elderly lady, but still. It's not the best, but obviously she was in a cube and with her family, so it's the best we can do under the circumstances, isn't it? Not ideal, but you know, with the pressures that we're all under. Yep.
We've got chocolate sponge and custard, which looks really nice, and gammon.
Resus is reserved to the most seriously ill requiring urgent care, but today staff nurse Jan Fox is serving lunch.
Ideally, the patient should only be here for 4 hours in the whole department, but that's not the case. So we're feeding them.
When the hospital fills up like this, the pressure's on doctors to discharge patients. But discharging patients too early can risk them returning with the same problem, making the overcrowding even worse.
So you fell on the Friday, I saw you on the Monday.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
And then I went home.
Leslie Jones is back in the emergency department today. He fell and broke 3 ribs several weeks ago, but there's no improvement, so he's back in hospital for a third time.
He didn't seem to be getting any better, so he had no choice this morning but to come back.
You obviously went to your GP with you were short of breath.
Yeah.
Was there anything else going on?
Leslie needs to be scanned again, and it's likely he'll be spending another night in hospital. In the meantime, he'll be staying in an A&E bay.
Oh, I appreciate what he's done.
We can try and do. Okay. On one side, you can see it's different to the other. You've got this large grey area.
The results of Leslie Jones's CT scan are in.
It shows that the fluid that was round your lung has actually increased in size, probably compared to the previous CT scan, but it's slightly tricky to compare between some of your old x-rays, so that's not going to be helping things. But as I was worried, it looks like there probably are a couple of blood clots on your lungs, so pulmonary embolus. All right?
Waiting is a bit long, which I'm not very happy about, but when they're busy, you can't do anything about it.
At least something's getting done, isn't it? You know.
With so much demand, managing the flow of patients is critical to the safe running of the hospital. And the demand doesn't stop at night.
It's a challenging shift tonight. I think all areas have gridlocked in the department, and we're just trying our best really to maintain safety at the moment.
Sister Linda Rycroft is the senior nurse in the emergency department tonight.
We've got 8 ambulances outside. The longest wait is 18:33 and it's now 11:30 at night. They're quite poorly, the patients on those vehicles, and all need to be here really.
Have you got a divert?
We've got a border divert which will take some of the pressure off us.
A border divert means new ambulance patients are being sent to the next nearest hospital rather than Bangor.
Your dad was in an ambulance for quite some time because the situation is that there's no beds in the hospital. So your dad was seen on the vehicle by a doctor. He's had bloods and everything, and he's now in one of our majors bays. We will be keeping him in overnight, and he's to have IV antibiotics. They think he's got an infection. So he potentially won't be going back to the peripheral hospital. Unfortunately, your dad is 19th waiting for a bed.
2 days later, and the emergency department is a little less crowded, but the hospital is still stretched. Linda is attending the daily patient safety meeting.
So well done everyone, honestly, that was a really Herculean effort for all that, because we were in a bad place the last couple of days.
The dominant issue is the lack of beds.
Today, we've already agreed we need about 100 discharges to get us where we need to be. That's not 100. So, where are we going to have our discharges today? Alan Ward, how are we getting on? What are we thinking?
Dr Karen Mottard is the site medical director for Ysbyty Gwynedd. She has to set her staff targets for discharging patients, targets she knows they have little chance of meeting.
We're not going to get 100 today. We will end up at the end of today with patients still in beds, which we wouldn't normally be holding patients in.
For Dr Mottard, a lack of cash for social care in the community is putting her hospital and staff under strain. The Welsh Government is investing here. There's a brand new emergency department under construction. The hope is it might help the board hit waiting targets. But for staff and patients alike, the money's arriving not a moment too soon.